Hey everyone, Nux here, and it is once again that time of year. Yes, the Christmas of gaming known as E3 has once again rolled around, and as I have done for the past few years now, we are going to talk about E3 from the Nintendo side of things. Basically, these will be my predictions, thoughts, and opinions on Nintendo's upcoming E3 presentation for 2018. As such, there will be a lot of personal preference in areas, but if you want to share your own thoughts, leave them down below in the comments. Anyway, you all already know how this works, so let's start. So with Nintendo's E3 this year, it seems to be following a similar song and dance to their more recent E3s. We have 2 tournaments, a video presentation for upcoming games, and the Treehouse Live segments that focus on more gameplay and details. So I expect this year to be on a similar scale to 2017 in general. However, there are obviously going to be a few differences I both expect and differences I hope to see. So first, let's look at the forefront game for this year's E3, being the recently announced Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch. It has already been confirmed that Smash will be the focus of E3 this year, and as I have discussed in the past, each E3 Nintendo likes to highlight a specific game they see as their biggest release of that year, and Smash fits the bill. The big thing with Smash is that not only is it confirmed we are getting an info blowout, we will also guarantee see gameplay, as one of the tournaments this year is focused on Smash Switch. Through this tournament, it guarantees we will see multiple characters in action. This shows us what characters will be in the game, and there are already some obvious ones we expect to see. But I do expect possibly a surprise or two to pop up. Maybe a surprise reveal could happen at this tournament, but I wouldn't put money on it, because I think most of the newcomer reveals are at least will be in the video presentation, not in the tournament. In terms of specific desires for Smash, I have not much to say since I have a whole video series for that. If you do want to hear about those, just check out my next Smash Bros. Talk series. I will say one big reason I'm happy Smash is getting this information now is we can end so many community disputes, such as the infamous new game versus port debate. I do hope it is a new game, but even if it is, I'm expecting the game to take a lot of assets from Smash 4 either way. So Smash will be there, and it will be hype, but it's Smash's major presence that makes me iffy on how the rest of their E3 will go. Smash Bros. Is a huge name for Nintendo, and it can carry so much weight with little effort. So that makes me wonder just how many other games will Nintendo show alongside Smash at this E3. Will they go all out and show a lot of games for not only 2018, but 2019 as well? Or will they just show whatever is left for 2018? Perhaps we may not see all the remaining 2018 games here. Despite my uncertainty, I still want to cover all the possible games for this E3 because Nintendo does need a decent amount of games to fill the gaps for the rest of 2018. So let's start with one I expect to see there for sure, being that of Yoshi's Switch. Yoshi was revealed at last year's E3, but we haven't seen it since that E3. It kind of just disappeared without a trace in a similar vein to Yoshi Woolly World when it was known as Yarn Yoshi. So it makes me wonder if the game will follow a similar trend to that game, where it just disappears for so long, then resurfaces out of nowhere looking slightly different. Because of this, I'm not certain we will see it, but I have a good feeling it is very possible. So I'm roughly 60% on that. Not going to delve too deep into this though, because this new Yoshi doesn't personally have my attention due to being a direct sequel to Woolly World by look. And I'm that guy that misses the more hand-drawn look of Yoshi games like Yoshi's Island DS. I personally really prefer that game, but that aside, let's move on. Another game that I not only expect, but should be here, is that of a new Animal Crossing for Switch. Now again, not really going crazy for this game myself. I've never dove too deep into the Animal Crossing series because it's not really my type of game. I have no beef with the series, it's just not my thing. But I do know Animal Crossing fans have been starving for a new main entry for the longest. Nintendo has constantly teased Animal Crossing fans for a while now, and even I'd have to say it is long overdue for an official reveal of that. I expect a name and a date with a dedicated direct for it may be coming later. If I had to place a date on this game, that's where it seems tricky. Animal Crossing always felt more like a spring or summer game to me, so perhaps it could drop next year, but you never know, they may squeeze it somewhere this year. So next up is Pikmin 4. This is one of those weird games because Pikmin 4 was confirmed so long ago to be in development by Miyamoto before the Switch was announced. And he even said that it was near complete, but we have not heard anything from that since. Now, it was confirmed that Hey Pikmin was not the main 4th entry we are looking for, but yeah, it is long overdue we see something about Pikmin 4 this E3. I at least want a reassurance that it is still coming or some kind of update. Some possible reasons for the delay of this game I've thought of include maybe the project being put on hold due to Miyamoto being busy on other stuff like the theme parks, the new Mario movie, and such. Or the possibility where the game was originally mostly built like a Wii U game, similar to Pikmin 3, but had to be changed due to the move to Switch. Either way, I hope we see something from it soon. I really do like the Pikmin games. I have owned and played all 3 games, and I generally see them as really fun games to play. There's all sorts of little things I'd love to see, but I'll talk about those another time. I just hope that sooner or later we do see Pikmin 4. The next game is that of Fire Emblem. Now, Fire Emblem Switch was also revealed a while ago and is still listed for 2018. So going into E3, I expect a full reveal for this new Fire Emblem game. We will see the name, a trailer detailing what the possible theme is, and all that kind of good stuff. Really interested in this new Fire Emblem because I really did enjoy Awakening back then, and I've wanted to try a new Fire Emblem for a while, but I was turned off from Fire Emblem Fates because of all the controversy that was surrounding that game, so I was like, I'll steer clear of that. And I have been going back and playing some of the older ones, which is why I'm interested in a new one. But really, what's really going to make this one interesting is it will be the first console Fire Emblem in a while, so hopefully they will be able to cook up something good. Also, as a final note, I think Fire Emblem is one of the games that will definitely drop this year, so I'd put money that Fire Emblem will be at this E3 and will have a decent presence. So next up is a huge game that people have been looking forward to, and that is Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 was revealed at last year's E3 and was easily one of the most hyped games of last year. So naturally, being a year later, people are expecting to see some more on it. However, I have a feeling we will not see much of Prime 4 at this E3 at least. As we know, all we got last year was a simple logo and a confirmation it was in development, but we have no indication how far it is and if it even started at all. Because of this, I'm going to play it safe and say this with Prime 4. There's a possibility we could see a new cinematic trailer or some update with concept art, but I don't expect any gameplay at all. And if by some miracle we do get gameplay, it won't be playable on the show floor for sure. And finally, I believe that Prime 4 will not release this year. I just think Prime 4 has not had enough work put into it yet to where we will see a whole bunch of the game. Combine that with the fact that Smash is here and it seems like it will not be Prime 4's time just yet. I would love to be wrong in areas though. I just hope the team takes their time to really do this sequel justice. In the meantime, I should probably finish the Prime trilogy as I'm still wrapping up Metroid Prime 1. So what I want to talk about next is Next Level Games. Now Next Level has been quiet for a while and I always had a feeling they were working on something. When the Luigi Mansion remake on the 3DS was announced, I assumed it was them due to their role with Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, but it was actually confirmed that Grezzo was developing that port. So that does leave this team open to working on a project. And now we have to ask what that project could be. Now, one guess I originally suspected was a new Luigi's Mansion for Switch, since it seems like it would be a great October game. And I feel like it would be the sort of game that they would be working on after Dark Moon. And there were a few rumors about a Luigi's Mansion 3, even though we never really got follow-ups on those, but Luigi's Mansion is a possible game they could be working on. But a lot of evidence actually points to it possibly being Punch-Out! Not only were there recently some Punch-Out! Trademarks filed, but the website for Punch-Out! Has also been updated as well. Honestly, I would be down for a new Punch-Out! If it's on the same level of quality like the Wii one, as the charm of that game is really fun. Just as long as we eventually get a new Mario Strikers down the road too. And now, it's time to touch Retro. Man oh man, Retro Studios, where on earth have you been? You have been missing for like 4 to 5 years and we have heard almost nothing. It's crazy to me Retro has been missing and quiet for so long. I expected at least an official teaser or something by now, but they've been dead silent. So I want to say this E3 could be it. This is where we finally see what Voodoo Magic Retro Studios has been cooking up for the last few years. But I'm no longer sure on that. All I know is for all the time spent on this project, it had better not just been a 2D Donkey Kong game this whole time. That much time on a 2D game, even one as detailed as the Return series of Donkey Kong Country games, is ridiculous. So I do hope it is either a new IP or a franchise revival that they are working on. Or even if it is a DK game, I at least hope that it's maybe a 3D one or a very expansive one. Just anything but a generic 2D Donkey Kong game. Heck, it may be possible they have been juggling multiple projects at once. But either way, I am hoping to hear from Retro Studios soon. So next up is the last game I think has a chance of showing up this year, and that is Pokemon Switch. But the thing is, I've been conflicted in terms of how I feel about Pokemon. I'm not sure on what to expect. There have been many rumors and such talking about it, but I personally think a lot of it is stupid clickbait rumors made up to build hype since it seems quiet currently. Here's all I have to say. I don't expect Pokemon to get a blowout during the presentation. I'm more so open to the possibility of a Pokemon Direct taking place before E3. As many people have said, the usual tradition is that Game Freak likes to break away and have Pokemon be contained for its own reveals in order to let its own hype build up. So it's possible Game Freak has a Pokemon Direct ready to reveal soon, as one has not happened yet at the time of this video. However, if no Direct or any word from the games comes by the end of E3, then it is most likely a 2019 game, and they will reveal it later into the year. Personally, I just hope whatever this next Pokemon game on Switch is, it has a lot of time and effort put into it that makes it one of the most exciting and refreshing Pokemon games in a while. I feel like the series has been burned out a little due to some of the newer games feeling rushed in some areas, and not fully living up to their hype. So I am cautious, but I'm hoping for the best for this Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch. So this next prediction is that we will see a new Mario game or two in some form once again. I know, a safe prediction, but I have some more specific guesses to what it could be. Recently, we have gotten some trademarks for Paper Mario and Dr. Mario, and there have also been rumors for a new Mario Party. Now in terms of the games themselves, my thoughts are going to be predictable, but straight to the point. I am fearful for Paper Mario and Mario Party, but I'm looking forward to Dr. Mario. The reason being, Dr. Mario has generally mostly had good games, and I love those games so much. But the issue with the other two is, I just really hope Nintendo has gotten the stick out their butts and actually try to improve these sub-series. Paper Mario needs to go back to a traditional RPG with new worlds, unique characters, good story, and most importantly, fun gameplay. Like, the outrage from Color Splash was so loud, it would blow my mind if Nintendo ignored it or half-heartedly listened to it. It would be stupidity on the levels of Sega. Same applies to Mario Party, where Mario Party as a series has just gotten worse and worse with each entry as of late. The 3DS Mario Party games were god-awful, and Mario Party 9 and 10 were so dull and shells of what made Mario Party what it was. I don't want to rant too much on these though, because I have some upcoming videos talking about these issues in more detail. But in short, if we do see these series, I just hope they are actual evolutions of the franchises and not de-evolutions, or I can't get hyped for them at all. Another big Mario game I want to see soon is Mario Maker. As you know, I made a whole video about things I would love to see in a new Mario Maker game. And I'm hoping at some point we do see some form of it on the Switch as a sequel or an upgraded port. However, yes, I am aware of the obstacles of Mario Maker being on Switch, such as the lack of a true touchpad to design levels with fluidity. I do trust Nintendo to come up with a really good solution though. We will have to wait and see, and I do not rule out Mario Maker being on Switch just yet. So now that we have those out the way, let's just go into some general predictions I have in my notes here. I expect to see another Wii U port announced here, shocking I know. As for what it is, no major ideas, there are really only a few games left that make sense to port. There are multiple Wii U games you can port, but as I stated in my detailed talk about the Wii U games left to port, some make no sense to port, and you're just better off making sequels to those games as opposed to just porting them. So I will leave my thoughts on Wii U ports off there. Most likely the 3DS will also get at least one announcement or something at this event, because Nintendo is still very keen in keeping it alive, to which I don't expect any crazy titles for 3DS to be announced here. But I won't go too deep into this because I have a video all about the 3DS coming up in the future as well. Which leads to my next prediction, and that I have a feeling we may see some form of a new Zelda, but it will most likely be a remake if we see Zelda at all. I think Skyward Sword HD is a game that is inevitable and coming soon, and I'll bite and say that it is possible it could be nearing for the time to reveal it, but I'm not going to put money on that because I feel like it's a bit too soon. And there was an old rumor about a Link's Awakening remake, but I think that it could be happening, but if it was going to happen, it probably would have happened by now. I don't know. I just feel like the Link's Awakening rumor just kind of fell flat. Oh, shout out to my boy Andrew, by the way. But anyway, outside a remake, I don't expect anything for Zelda at this E3. I expect DLC for some of the currently released games to potentially be a thing announced or talked about at this E3. Two of the big examples I personally look forward to and care about the most is Super Mario Odyssey and Kirby Star Allies. With Mario Odyssey, we have been speculating on things like additional kingdoms and new moons and a playable Luigi for a while. We have been getting new costumes through free updates, but honestly it hasn't done much to excite people because there's no substance with the costumes. That and the fact that the costumes cost so many coins and require too much grinding in-game. People want more new and substantial content beyond costumes or Luigi's Balloon World, and I think some additional content like new kingdoms with a new playable character would be really exciting. In terms of Kirby, the big thing I could see being slipped in is the official reveal of the next wave of Dream Friends. Now it could not necessarily be E3 worthy, which is why I'm more doubtful on this, but we do know they did promise more Dream Friends, and I feel they may want formal reveals for them as opposed to just throwing them out there, but who knows what could happen. As to who they are, well, there were data mines revealing all of that, so if you want, you can search that up, but if you want to be surprised, highly recommend just waiting. Okay folks, we are almost at the end. To wrap this up, I'm going to throw some brief thoughts on third party. So one of the current big third party games we know of is Bayonetta 3. This is a game I expect to see more just due to how it's been a while since its initial reveal. Now whether or not it makes 2018 is a 50-50 chance in my eyes. I also think we will see just a little more on Octopath Traveler leading into its release. A big thing with third party overall, I just want to see more third party titles announced this E3. In 2017 I cut a little slack since it was the Switch's first year and there was a very bad uncertainty to it. But now that we're diving into the second year, I'm expecting a little more to be announced. I'm still keeping my expectations in check and I'm not expecting every major release to come to Switch, but I'm hoping the lineup in terms of the third party is a lot better than the tiny lineup of last year. That alone I think is reasonable. As long as there is growth and not shrinkage, I think it will shape up well. But of course there will be a focus on some indie games like there always is, so that should also help. Whew, okay, that was a lot to cover, but to finish up here, I just want to throw out some last minute final specific thoughts I want to see with this E3 as I do every year. These are basically more so personal wants, things that are not guaranteed for this E3, but just things I would love to see. One thing I would love to see is more OS updates for the Switch. As I've talked about in the past, I still think at some point Nintendo needs to get on the ball with adding some of that basic functionality that the Switch should have had at launch. They are trying to take baby steps in adding that kind of stuff, but it feels like Nintendo is not putting it as a priority, and to get some announcements on that soon would be very nice. Now, I don't think they'll do it at E3 necessarily. Those types of things are more so things they just throw out there, not things that they formally announce, so I don't think we'll see that. Another thing I'll just add is some things I want to see with the presentation itself. I want to see good variety. I want to see Nintendo do this presentation in a nicely organized way that's good in spacing out the games and having well-placed balance so that the event flows naturally. Like, I still feel like Nintendo has some small issues in terms of pacing when it comes to their presentations, despite how much I did like 2017's. Also, another thing I want to ask is, can this presentation please have a little more time than last year? Because last year's, despite how many games, they managed to get under that small time frame, it was extremely stressful just how little time Nintendo put on that presentation. And hopefully, I just want a little extra time. Like, half an hour I think is reasonable. I think that's a decent amount of time to get some good games in there. But 20 minutes, let's not do that again, please. I guess the last thing I can throw in here, because I do it every year, is I'll pray for anything Mother/Earthbound related. I do it every E3, but rarely do I ever really get what I want. Like, there was that E3, we did get Earthbound Beginnings, we got Earthbound Zero localized at last, but ever since, we've heard nothing on Mother 3, and I'm starting to lose hope that we'll ever hear anything on that game. Like, at this point, it's just going to be a cursed meme that will be a thing till the end of time, I feel like. But just, if anything about that series were to happen at this E3, you already know I'll lose my mind, but I'm not holding any hope for that. Alright, well, sorry to end on a sad note, but yeah, that's all I got for this year's E3 predictions for 2018. So now all we have to do is wait for E3 to see how Nintendo's presentation will go. As usual, I'll try to get a live reaction for this year's E3, and I will get that up and you will see what my reaction to their E3 is. Now, of course, I can't promise that because things happen in life and there's a possibility something could come up and I can't do my live reaction. If that is the case, then I will let you guys know. Otherwise, one thing I do promise is I will get my review out once E3 is over, and we will review all these points note by note. Alright guys, this has been Nux, and that's all I have to say. Peace out.